For centuries, humanity has been caught in a collective trance about money. We've been conditioned to believe that wealth is something external, almost sacred, governed by mysterious forces like luck, inheritance, or backbreaking effort. This powerful belief has shaped entire civilizations and created generations of exhausted seekers, people who chase after a prosperity that always seems to slip through their fingers just when they think they've grasped it. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others struggle for years without ever getting ahead? Why is it that despite working harder, longer hours, and making all the right financial decisions, prosperity still feels just beyond your reach? Has this ever happened to you? You work diligently, save carefully, and follow all the conventional financial wisdom. Yet somehow, money still feels like this elusive entity that chooses whom to serve, appearing and disappearing according to some rule book you were never given. You're not alone. Millions share this frustrating experience, and there's a profound reason why. The illusion of separation, the conventional view most of us have inherited, sees money as something that comes and goes, something external to us that we must chase, capture, and desperately try to keep. This creates what Florence Scovel called the illusion of separation, the false belief that you and abundance exist as two separate entities with a vast gulf between them. What you're about to discover might surprise you because it contradicts almost everything you've been taught about wealth creation. The truth is both unsettling and liberating. Money is not an independent force operating outside of you. It is, and has always been, a direct reflection of your internal state. The outer world of your financial reality is merely mirroring your inner world of thoughts, beliefs, and vibrations. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the globe. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Money as a mirror, stay with me until the end of this journey because I'm going to reveal exactly how this invisible mechanism works, and more importantly, how you can reprogram it to transform your financial reality, often within minutes. This isn't magical thinking or wishful manifestation. It's based on understanding and applying universal principles that govern all forms of creation, including the creation of material wealth. When you operate from a state of fear, anxiety, and scarcity around money, it responds by fleeing. But when you cultivate a state of inner security and abundance, it flows toward you naturally, as if drawn by some invisible magnet. This happens because the physical world we experience is not the cause of our circumstances, but the effect, the visible manifestation of our invisible vibration. The key lies not in changing your external actions first, but in transforming your internal relationship with abundance. And here's the most fascinating part. Once you understand this principle, you realize that transformation can happen in an instant. Think of money as a mirror, perhaps the most accurate mirror in your life. It reflects with perfect precision the state of your consciousness around wealth. When fear, doubt, and scarcity dominate your inner landscape, money responds by creating distance. It's not punishing you. It's simply obeying the vibration you're emitting. But when you cultivate a state of inner security, gratitude, and certainty, money flows toward you through channels that often seem miraculous to the untrained eye. This revelation completely shifts the journey of wealth creation. Instead of exhausting yourself chasing after dollars, you learn to become a vibrational match for them. The hidden truth that few financial advisors will tell you is that your bank account is merely the physical manifestation of your invisible vibration around money. Your financial reality is not happening to you. It's happening through you and from you. The law of manifestation. When I speak about manifesting money from nothing, I'm not describing some mystical trick or spiritual shortcut. I'm referring to a living law that governs all creation. It's the same law that transforms a tiny acorn into a mighty oak, that heals a wound without conscious effort, that orchestrates the perfect dance of planets around stars. This universal principle doesn't require your belief to operate. It's already working in every moment of your existence, whether you recognize it or not. What makes this law so revolutionary for your financial mindset is that it responds to conviction, not to lack or need. Most people approach wealth from a position of desperation. I need money because I don't have enough. This mindset actually reinforces the very absence they're trying to overcome. The law of manifestation responds not to your wanting but to your being. Instant transformation. Now, I want to go even deeper into this aspect of instant manifestation. The rational mind tells us that meaningful change requires time, weeks, months, even years of effort. But this is perhaps the greatest misconception about the manifestation process. Time is merely a construct of our three-dimensional perception. The invisible field where all manifestation begins operates simultaneously, not sequentially. What we often label as a miracle, a sudden windfall, an unexpected opportunity, a perfect timing scenario is simply our delayed perception of something that was already happening on an invisible plane. The moment you truly shift your consciousness around money, the wheels of manifestation begin turning instantly. Your physical experience may take moments or days to reflect this shift, but the positive change happens in the instant of genuine realization. This explains why some people can transform their financial reality seemingly overnight, while others struggle for decades without progress. The difference isn't luck or privilege, it's the depth and authenticity of their inner shift. If you found value in these principles of manifestation, hit that subscribe button to join our community of conscious creators. I share powerful insights like these regularly to help you master the art of creating your reality. The illusion of the invisible field where all manifestation begins operates simultaneously, not sequentially. What we often label as a miracle, a sudden windfall, an unexpected opportunity, or a perfect timing scenarios simply our delayed perception of something that was already happening on an invisible plane. The moment you truly shift your consciousness around money, the wheels of manifestation begin turning instantly. Your physical experience may take moments or days to reflect this shift, but the positive change happens in the instant of genuine realization. This revelation shatters the conventional wisdom about manifestation that tells us we must wait, be patient, and accept delay as part of the journey. The truth is far more empowering. The only real delay is in our acceptance of our new state of being. Once we fully embody a new consciousness around wealth, the universe has no choice but to reorganize itself around that reality. Time itself is nothing more than a construct of the rational mind, a way of organizing experience into before and after. But the creative force that shapes our reality doesn't operate within these constraints. In the invisible realm where all things are first conceived, everything exists in a state of pure potential, waiting to be claimed through consciousness. What appears as a time-based process of manifestation is actually just our linear perception of a simultaneous event. Florence Scovel understood this profound truth decades ago when she taught that our outer world is always catching up to our inner decisions. The path between your current financial situation and your desired one exists not in time, but in consciousness. The distance is not measured in days or months, but in the degree of your conviction. The honest language of money. Among all the ways this universal law expresses itself, money speaks perhaps the most honest language. It communicates without pretense, revealing with perfect clarity the true nature of your internal state. Your financial situation isn't just showing you numbers in an account, it's showing you yourself reflected back with unflinching accuracy. This is why money has been called the most direct language of the universe. It has no morals, no preferences, and no judgments. It doesn't care about your past, your education, or your family background. It responds to only one thing: the quality and consistency of your vibration. If you believe with unwavering certainty, it obeys. If you doubt, it withdraws. This isn't punishment. It's precision. Understanding this dynamic transforms your relationship with money from one of pursuit to one of alignment. You no longer need complicated strategies or exhausting hustle. You need only to master your internal state. The alignment begins when you abandon the old paradigm that sees the external world as the cause of your financial situation and embrace the truth that it is only ever the effect. The catalyst for true financial transformation is this profound shift in perspective, seeing money not as something to be acquired, but as something to be allowed through the doorway of your consciousness. Money isn't created, it's allowed. It isn't earned through struggle, it's attracted through resonance. The artistry of embodiment. Let's Explore how this understanding changes your practical approach to wealth creation. When you recognize that money is simply energy responding to your vibration, you begin to focus less on the mechanics of acquisition and more on the artistry of embodiment. Type vibration matters in the comments if you're beginning to feel the power of this perspective shift. This is where most seekers of financial freedom get caught in an endless loop of complexity. They dive into complicated investment strategies, meticulously crafted business plans, and elaborate manifestation rituals, all while missing the fundamental principle that would make everything else effortless: understanding. The vibrational nature of money doesn't require complicated methods. It requires alignment. This alignment isn't some mystical state reserved for spiritual masters. It's a practical shift in consciousness that begins with one revolutionary insight. The external world is not the cause of your financial situation. It is only ever the effect. Your bank account, your income streams, your investment returns, these are not creating your financial reality. They are reflecting it. This revelation completely transforms your journey. Instead of trying to manipulate external circumstances to create internal security, you learn to generate internal security that naturally reorganizes external circumstances. The direction of the creative flow is always from within to without, never the other way around. The field of pure potential behind the scenes of physical reality exists, what quantum physicists might call the field of infinite possibilities, dimension of pure potential, where everything that could possibly exist already does in an unmanifested state. This invisible field contains every possibility you could ever desire: financial abundance, meaningful work, perfect timing, inspired ideas. Nothing is missing in this realm. Nothing needs to be created. Everything is simply waiting to be chosen. The bridge between this field and your physical experience is your consciousness, specifically, the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs you hold with consistency. When you align with this invisible source with absolute certainty, without the contamination of fear or doubt, something remarkable happens. The impossible becomes tangible, often within minutes. I've witnessed this phenomenon countless times, both in my own life and in the lives of those I've guided. A person shifts their inner state from anxiety about money to complete certainty in abundance, and within hours, an unexpected check arrives. Someone releases their death grip of control over how prosperity must come and surrenders to the wisdom of the universe. And suddenly, a brilliant business idea emerges fully formed. These aren't coincidences or lucky breaks. They're examples of the law, working with perfect precision. What makes this approach so revolutionary is that it bypasses the lengthy processes we've been taught are necessary for financial growth. The only real obstacle to instant manifestation is our own resistance, our inability to fully believe in and embody the state of having already received. When that resistance dissolves, even for a moment, the floodgates of abundance open naturally. The transformation happens not through force, but through alignment, through becoming a clear channel for prosperity to flow through. Rather than an obstacle it must flow around. If you're beginning to sense the power in this approach, right alignment is everything in the comments. Breaking free from scarcity now, let me share a profound revelation that completely reframes the manifestation process. When you set out to manifest money, you're not actually trying to create it. You're simply remembering who creates it. This subtle but powerful distinction holds the key to unlocking financial abundance. Most people approach manifestation as if they're attempting to conjure something from nothing through sheer willpower. But this approach keeps them in a state of striving, of reaching for something they don't yet possess. The masters of manifestation understand that abundance already exists in its complete form. We're not creating it. We're allowing ourselves to reconnect with our natural state of being. The first and most formidable barrier preventing most people from manifesting money is their deeply ingrained belief in scarcity. From our earliest memories, we've been conditioned to see the world as a place of lack of time, lack of resources, lack of opportunity. This programming runs so deep that it forms the invisible foundation of our relationship with money. We live comparing, measuring, and competing, always believing there isn't enough to go around. This mindset creates an invisible prison because a mind fixated on lack simply cannot perceive the open doors of opportunity surrounding it. The hidden truth behind this illusion is that what we call scarcity is merely our inability to perceive the constant flow of abundance that surrounds us at every moment. It's not that money is lacking in the world. The global economy circulates trillions daily. It's that our consciousness has been closed to it, like someone dying of thirst while standing in a rainstorm, unable to recognize the water falling all around them. This revelation transforms your entire approach to wealth. Instead of struggling to create something new, your journey becomes one of removing the blocks, limitations, and false perceptions that have kept you disconnected from your natural state of abundance. The path to financial freedom isn't about adding anything to yourself. It's about stripping away the illusions that have kept you from experiencing what was always yours. When Florence Scovel Shinn worked with her students on financial transformation, she didn't begin by teaching them complex visualization techniques. She started by helping them identify and release the limiting beliefs about money that were blocking their natural prosperity. She understood that our consciousness must be cleared before it can become a conduit for abundance. This inner work represents the most crucial aspect of your wealth journey because it addresses the root cause rather than the symptoms of financial struggle. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is first a breakthrough in moment when someone finally sees through the illusion of scarcity and reconnects with the truth of abundance. If you're beginning to recognize how deeply the scarcity mindset has influenced your financial reality, type "breaking free from lack" in the comments. Money as energy and resonance. Now let's explore the energetic nature of prosperity. Modern physics has revealed what ancient wisdom traditions have always known. Everything in our universe is fundamentally energy vibrating at different frequencies. Money is no exception. Currency, digital balances, investments, these are simply different forms of energy, and like all energy in the universe, money responds to one fundamental law, the law of correspondence. This principle states that you can never receive something whose vibration contradicts what you feel and believe internally. The outer must always match the inner. This isn't metaphysics. It's physics. This revelation explains why someone can work tirelessly, follow all the right financial strategies, and still struggle to accumulate wealth. If their internal vibration, their deeply held beliefs, feelings, and expectations about money contradicts the abundance they seek, they'll continuously find evidence supporting their underlying belief in lack, not because the world is cruel, but because it reflects back to them exactly the state they have energetically assumed. The mindset transformation required to overcome this pattern is both simple and profound. You must completely reverse your perspective about the relationship between you and money. Instead of seeing prosperity as something distant that must be pursued, captured, and held onto, you begin to recognize it as a natural extension of your own being, as inseparable from you as your shadow. This shift is not merely intellectual, it must penetrate to the core of your identity. There is nothing outside of you. What appears as the outside world is simply the projection of what vibrates inside. When you truly embody this understanding, the fear of losing, of not having enough, of needing to struggle, simply dissolves. Abundance ceases to be a hope for the future and becomes your present identity. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this revelation perfectly when she said, "Your word is your wand." She understood that your consciousness doesn't just influence your reality, it creates it. The journey to financial freedom isn't about changing your circumstances, it's about changing the vibration that's creating those circumstances. You are not a separate entity who must somehow attract money from the outside world. You are the source. You recognize money as an expression of your own creative energy, an energy that's already flowing through you, waiting to be directed by your consciousness. Ready to continue this journey of financial transformation? Subscribe now and discover more hidden truths about manifestation that most people never learn. Each video builds on these principles to expand your prosperity consciousness. Abundance, your fundamental identity. This represents perhaps the most significant paradigm shift in the science of manifestation. Rather than seeing yourself as a separate entity who must somehow attract money from the outside world, you recognize money as an expression of your own creative energy, and energy that's already flowing through you, waiting to be directed by your consciousness. When this understanding fully integrates into your being, something remarkable happens. Abundance transforms from a distant hope into your fundamental identity. This shift doesn't just change how you think about money, it completely rewires your emotional relationship with it. The fear of loss, of not having enough, of missing opportunities simply dissolves because you can no longer believe in scarcity, any more than water can believe in dryness. It's contrary to your nature. This revelation illuminates the true nature of your environment, not as a fixed, solid reality that dictates your financial circumstances, but as a malleable field that responds dynamically to your state of being. The world around you is more like a holographic projection than a concrete structure. It shifts, morphs, and reorganizes itself in perfect harmony with the vibration you maintain internally. The transformative exercise. Try this transformative exercise now. Close your eyes and begin to perceive your surroundings not as separate objects, but as a responsive field of energy, a living substance that listens to and obeys your internal state. Now, imagine money not as something that comes to you from external sources, but as a force that sprouts from within, manifesting in the form of ideas, opportunities, connections, and solutions that appear in perfect timing. Repeat this phrase silently to yourself. Money doesn't come to me. It is already in me. Say it slowly, allowing each word to penetrate beyond your intellect into the realm of feeling. Continue until these words cease being just a mantra and transform into a visceral knowing, a felt sense of truth. The journey of financial mastery reaches a pivotal moment when this statement transitions from being an intellectual concept to becoming an embodied reality. When this happens, you'll experience a profound sense of relief, as if a weight you've carried your entire life suddenly dissolves. This relief is the first unmistakable sign of alignment. It's as if your mind, tired of resisting the natural flow of abundance, finally surrenders and allows prosperity to circulate freely again. In this state of alignment, the invisible field begins to respond not because you've demanded it, but because you've stopped blocking it. The universe isn't granting your wishes. It's simply reflecting back to you, your own expanded consciousness. This represents a complete reversal of the manifestation process as most understand it. Instead of trying to attract something from outside yourself, you're allowing what was always within to express itself outwardly. Scarcity is a lack of consciousness. The mindset revolution that occurs in this moment changes everything. No longer are you attempting to manipulate external circumstances to create a feeling of abundance. Instead, you're generating the feeling of abundance first, knowing that external circumstances must reorganize themselves to match this new vibration. If this profound shift in perspective resonates with your inner knowing, type abundance flows from within in the comments. Now, let's explore a revolutionary insight that will completely transform how you perceive financial challenges. Scarcity is never about the absence of money, it's always about the absence of consciousness. This revelation liberates you from the trap of focusing on external conditions and redirects your attention to the only place where true change can occur, within your own awareness. Look closely at any situation of perceived lack in your life. What you'll discover is not that the universe has withheld abundance from you, but that your consciousness has been temporarily closed to recognizing the abundance that's always present. The universe never holds anything back. It's mathematically impossible in an infinite system. It is we who block the flow with our fears, doubts, and limited perceptions. This understanding completely transforms your approach to financial challenges. Instead of desperately seeking external solutions, you recognize that the most powerful action is an internal shift. When you transition from vibrating at the frequency of lack to vibrating at the frequency of wholeness, something miraculous happens. Opportunities that were always present, but previously invisible, suddenly become apparent. Connections form effortlessly. Resources appear from unexpected sources. None of this happens as a supernatural intervention. It unfolds as the natural, inevitable consequence of your new vibrational identity. The catalyst for this transformation is the recognition that you are not a beggar pleading for abundance from an external source. You are the source itself, expressing abundance through the vehicle of your consciousness. Money isn't something you chase. It's something you allow to flow through you when you remove the dams of doubt and fear that have restricted its natural movement. Florence Scovel captured this principle perfectly when she wrote, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy." She understood that the universe isn't responding to your requests. It's reflecting back to you, with perfect precision, exactly what you're projecting through your consciousness. If this perspective shift is illuminating your understanding of abundance, write, "I am the source" in the comments. Feeling creates form. Now, let's uncover a critical misunderstanding that keeps most people trapped in cycles of financial struggle. Despite their best efforts to manifest abundance, the universe does not respond to your words, your affirmations, or even your most earnest requests. It responds exclusively to your vibration, the emotional frequency you emit as you contemplate money. And vibration is simply another word for how you truly feel. This revelation explains why countless people can repeat positive affirmations about wealth for years without seeing tangible results. They're speaking words of abundance while still vibrating at the frequency of scarcity, fear, and doubt. This internal contradiction creates a split energy that cancels itself out. In the field of manifestation, the hidden truth behind successful manifestation is that feeling must always precede having. Most people approach this process backward. They believe they'll feel abundant once they have more money. But in the realm of creation, feeling is the mold, and physical reality is merely the substance that fills that mold. The emotion of already possessing creates the channel through which abundance can flow into your experience. This principle requires a complete reversal in how you approach manifestation. Instead of desperately wanting money from a place of lack, you generate the feeling of already possessing it from a place of wholeness. This isn't pretending, it's understanding and applying the actual mechanics of how reality forms around consciousness, visualization, the tool of feeling. The power of visualization doesn't lie in the images themselves, but in the emotional state these images evoke. The breakthrough comes when you understand that visualization is not about creating pretty pictures in your mind. It's about generating a visceral, embodied feeling of already possessing what you desire. Try this. Close your eyes and see that specific amount of money, not as a distant possibility but as a present reality. Visualize the account statement showing the balance. Hear the notification sound announcing the deposit. Feel your body's reaction to having received this money. Notice how your shoulders relax, how your breathing deepens. Experience the relief, the gratitude, the sense of security. The secret that distinguishes those who manifest quickly from those who struggle for years lies in this feeling of ownership. If you still feel that one day you will have this money, you're unknowingly affirming the distance. But when you genuinely feel that it is already yours on the invisible plane, the field immediately begins reorganizing to mirror that inner state. When you declare abundance in a world that seems to show evidence of limitation, the mind will immediately object. This is impossible. Where's the proof? This is where most people abandon the process. But those who understand respond differently. When the mind says impossible, the heart responds with unwavering certainty. It is already done. You're not creating a new identity, but returning to your original one. Your natural state isn't poverty consciousness, it's abundance consciousness. If this approach to manifestation resonates with your inner wisdom, right feeling creates form in the comments. The paradoxical turning point. Now, let's explore the paradoxical turning point in the manifestation process that most seekers never discover. The moment of surrender. There comes a stage in your prosperity journey when the most powerful action you can take is to stop trying so hard. This isn't passive resignation, it's the profound recognition that the analytical mind, with all its planning and controlling, often becomes the very obstacle to receiving. When the mind finally silences its constant chatter about how money should come, when it should appear, and what form it should take, something remarkable happens. The invisible begins to speak. Insights, intuitions, and inspirations that were always present but drowned out by mental noise suddenly become crystal clear. When your grip of control finally loosens, the natural flow of abundance that was always moving beneath the surface reveals itself. This revelation transforms your entire approach to manifestation. Instead of treating it as something you must force into being through sheer willpower or perfect technique, you recognize it as a natural process that works best when you stop interfering with it. Just as you don't need to force a seed to grow by pulling on the sprout, to simply provide the conditions and trust the innate intelligence within it, you don't need to force abundance. You align with it and allow it to express through you. The bridge, inspired action. The backdrop against which this surrender occurs isn't passive waiting, it's inspired action. And this brings us to another crucial distinction that separates masters of manifestation from perpetual seekers. Acting according to the assumed state is the bridge that allows the invisible to take physical shape. It's where inner transformation begins to express as outer reality. Many misunderstand manifestation as simply declaring an intention and then sitting back waiting for something to fall from the sky. But this passive approach misses half of the creative equation. True manifestation combines inner alignment with outer expression, being with doing. The key distinction lies in the quality and source of your action. Action born from desperation, fear, or the need to control outcomes actually pushes away the very thing you're trying to attract. It creates resistance in the field. But action that flows naturally from a state of inner certainty, what Florence Scovel-Shinn called following your hunches, accelerates manifestation because it's in harmony with the invisible forces already at work. This is why two people can take seemingly identical actions toward financial goals with dramatically different results. One person makes business calls from a state of need and anxiety, while another makes the same calls from a place of abundance and certainty. Though the external behavior appears the same, the energetic transmission is worlds apart, and the universe responds accordingly. The revelation that transforms theory into results is recognizing that inspired action doesn't feel like effort. It feels like allowing. It has a distinctive quality of ease, flow, and rightness that you recognize instantly when you're in alignment. If you've ever experienced those moments when everything just clicks into place effortlessly, type inspired flow in the comments. Listening deeper, the subtle directions now. Let's explore the subtle but profound difference between forced action and true inspired action. When most people think about taking steps toward financial abundance, they imagine pushing, striving, and making things happen through willpower. But true action, the kind that aligns with universal forces, flows naturally from a place of silent certainty. It emerges not from anxiety or desperation, but from a deep inner knowing. This form of action has a completely different quality. It doesn't drain your energy, it enhances it. It doesn't feel like swimming upstream. It feels like being carried by a current. There's a lightness to it, a sense of being guided rather than driving the process. You can feel the difference in your body. Tension releases, breathing deepens, and a subtle sense of rightness pervades your decisions. The catalyst for this transformation isn't trying harder, but listening deeper. Beneath the noise of your anxious thoughts lies an intuitive intelligence that already knows the most direct path to your abundance. Florence Scovel-Shinn taught her clients to recognize and follow these inner promptings, these quiet impulses that arise from the depths of being. What's truly remarkable is what happens when you fully assume the state of already possessing the money you desire. The external world begins to rearrange itself around your new vibrational signature. Your consciousness becomes a magnetic field that attracts corresponding circumstances. The first evidence of this shift often comes in the form of ideas, subtle yet persistent thoughts that seem to arise from nowhere, unexpected connections. You attend an event on a whim and meet the perfect collaborator. Subtle directions, gentle nudges, intuitive knowings, and inner promptings that guide you towards specific actions that feel right in a way you can't always rationally explain. These coincidences aren't accidents. They're the universe's natural response to your vibrational shift. The journey of manifestation transforms when you learn to trust and act on these subtle cues without needing to understand every step of the process in advance. This revelation completely transforms how you approach creating wealth. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to figure everything out with your limited conscious mind, you allow yourself to be guided by the infinite intelligence that orchestrates entire galaxies. If you've experienced these mysterious synchronicities in your own life, write divine coordination in the comments. The intuitive compass now. Let's uncover one of the most profound secrets about how the universe communicates opportunities for abundance. Most of us have been conditioned to believe that the rational mind, with its logic, analysis, and planning, is our most reliable guide to prosperity. But those who have mastered the art of manifestation understand a counterintuitive truth. The universe rarely speaks through logical reasoning. It communicates primarily through intuition. This revelation transforms your entire approach to recognizing financial opportunities. Instead of analyzing every possibility to death, or demanding complete certainty before taking action, you learn to attune to a different kind of knowing. When an impulse comes with a distinctive quality of lightness and clarity, sense of rightness that transcends logical justification, it deserves your immediate trust and action. Florence Scovel-Shinn described this as following your hunches, those subtle inner nudges that often make no rational sense at the time, but later reveal themselves as divinely guided stepping stones. These intuitive impulses aren't random or arbitrary. They're the universe's GPS system, guiding you along the most direct path to your manifestation. When you learn to recognize and act upon them without hesitation, your entire financial journey accelerates. The hidden truth that separates those who manifest abundance quickly from those who struggle for years lies in what they're willing to notice and trust. Many seekers of prosperity miss their greatest opportunities because they're waiting for something grandiose: the million-dollar business deal, the perfect high-paying job, the massive investment opportunity. Meanwhile, they overlook the small, seemingly insignificant paths that would lead them exactly where they desire to go. Abundance rarely announces itself with fanfare and flashing lights. It reveals itself in quiet moments, simple inspirations, and ordinary circumstances that only the awakened consciousness perceives as extraordinary. It might be an impulse to call an old colleague, attend a particular event, read a specific book, or explore a new skill. These modest beginnings often contain the seeds of your greatest prosperity when followed with trust and consistency. Behind the scenes of every overnight success story is usually a person who followed a series of subtle, intuitive nudges that others would have dismissed as insignificant. They sent the email that seemed pointless at the time. They made the introduction without knowing why. They explored the idea that had no obvious payoff. They followed the breadcrumb trail of intuition until it led them to their breakthrough. This approach represents a complete reversal of conventional wisdom about success. Instead of forcing your way forward through hustle and strain, you learn to move through life as a receiver, attuned to the subtle guidance that's always available, but rarely noticed by those fixated on external results. If you're beginning to recognize how often you may have overlooked these quiet opportunities in your own life, type "seeing the subtle signs" in the comments. The simplicity of inspired action now. Let's explore the surprising simplicity of inspired action. When people hear the phrase "taking action toward financial abundance," they often imagine dramatic gestures, launching businesses, making major investments, or completely changing career paths. But the transformation journey of manifestation often unfolds through actions so seemingly ordinary that most would miss their significance entirely. Inspired action may be as simple as sending an email you've been putting off, creating a social media post, sharing your knowledge, accepting an invitation you might normally decline, visiting a place you feel inexplicably drawn to. The power lies not in the magnitude of these actions, but in their alignment with the state of consciousness you've assumed. Each of these small steps serves as a response to and expression of your new identity as someone who is already prosperous. What makes these actions different from routine activities is the energy behind them. When you act from the consciousness of already being wealthy, even the most mundane task becomes infused with creative power. The same action performed from two different states of being produces entirely different results in the field of manifestation. This explains why some people seem to effortlessly create opportunities from the simplest interactions while others can make grand gestures that lead nowhere. The revelation that accelerates your manifestation journey is understanding that consistency matters more than intensity. Small actions, taken regularly from an aligned state, create far more momentum than occasional dramatic efforts. Florence Scovel captured this principle beautifully when she wrote, "Faith without works is dead." Your actions are the physical embodiment of your inner state, the bridge that allows invisible potential to become visible reality. The power of refusing. Perhaps the most crucial aspect of acting in accordance with your assumed state is recognizing what you must refuse to do. If you've declared, "I am prosperous," in your meditation or visualization practice, but then speak, complain, and fear like someone trapped in scarcity, you're creating a vibrational contradiction that stalls your manifestation. Your words, gestures, and choices must align with the state you've declared yourself to be. This represents a form of spiritual discipline that few are willing to practice consistently. This isn't passive resignation or forcing a false positivity. It's about coherence between your inner declaration and your outer expression. You're essentially training the universe to recognize who you truly are through consistent signals rather than mixed messages. When someone asks about your financial situation, do you automatically launch into stories of struggle, or do you speak with the quiet confidence of someone who knows abundance is their natural state? When unexpected expenses arise, do you panic as if resources are limited, or do you remain centered in the certainty that flow always meets genuine needs? These seemingly small choices form the fabric of your manifesting power. If you're committed to maintaining this vibrational consistency in your life, type aligned in word and deed in the comments. That's spiritual discipline of alignment. Now, let's explore the profound spiritual discipline that transforms intention into reality. Every word you speak, every gesture you make, every choice, no matter how small, must align with the state of prosperity you've declared yourself to be. This isn't about superficial positive thinking. It's about bringing your entire being into coherence with your highest understanding of abundance. This practice represents one of the most powerful yet least discussed aspects of manifestation. When you maintain impeccable alignment between your inner declaration and your outer expression, you're essentially training the universe to recognize who you truly are. It's as if you're signaling to the field of infinite possibilities, "This is me, this is my vibration, respond accordingly," and the field always honors this signal without fail. Florence Scovel emphasized this principle when she taught that your word is your wand. Every time you speak about money, wealth, or resources, you're casting a spell, literally spelling out the reality you wish to experience. This understanding transforms casual conversations into sacred opportunities for reinforcing your prosperity consciousness. Your words become deliberate acts of creation rather than unconscious habits. The revelation that accelerates this transformation is recognizing that this alignment isn't something you achieve once and then move on from. It's a moment-by-moment practice of presence and awareness. Each time you catch yourself speaking, thinking, or acting from scarcity and consciously shift to abundance, you strengthen the signal you're sending to the universe. This spiritual workout builds your manifestation muscles just as surely as physical training builds your body. What's truly remarkable is what happens when you sustain this alignment over time. A mysterious alchemy begins to unfold in your experience. What initially required conscious effort gradually becomes your natural expression. You no longer need to force yourself to think abundantly, because abundance has become your default state. At this stage of the journey, a profound shift occurs in your relationship with money. You no longer chase it or pursue it as something separate from yourself. Instead, it begins moving toward you, naturally attracted by the consistent vibration you're maintaining. Opportunities, resources, and prosperity flow into your experience, not because you've manipulated external circumstances, but because you've transformed your internal reality. This represents the ultimate reversal of conventional wisdom about wealth creation. Instead of working harder to make money, you work on yourself to become a natural conduit for it. The journey transforms from exhausting effort to the effortless expression of your true abundant nature. If this perspective shift is illuminating your understanding of how manifestation really works, type effortless attraction in the comments. The gestation period. Trusting the Let's explore the critical phase of manifestation, where most people abandon the process just before their breakthrough. After you've done the inner work, feeling abundance as your natural state, assuming the identity of someone who already possesses prosperity, and taking inspired action, the universe begins to reorganize itself around your new vibration. This is where the invisible starts becoming visible. Yet, paradoxically, this is precisely the point where many people lose faith and revert to their old patterns. Why? Because the physical manifestation of their desire doesn't always appear immediately. They've been conditioned to expect instant results. And when the external world doesn't transform overnight, doubt creeps in. They wonder if they've been fooling themselves, or if they're doing it wrong. What they fail to understand is the natural law governing the manifestation process. It works not like a button that produces immediate results, but like an echo that returns at the same frequency as the sound emitted. When you send out the vibration of abundance with unwavering certainty, that exact vibration must return to you. It's mathematically guaranteed in an intelligent universe. But just as an echo needs time to bounce back depending on the distance, manifestation often includes a gestation period where things are reorganizing behind the scenes. The problem isn't the delay, it's our impatience that interrupts the natural flow. Think of it this way: when you shout into a canyon, if you keep shouting new sounds before the echo returns, you create a jumbled, incoherent reflection. This is exactly what happens when you constantly shift your vibration around money due to impatience. You affirm abundance one day, then worry about lack the next, then force solutions out of fear the day after, creating a confused vibrational message that the universe cannot clearly reflect back. Florence Scovel understood this principle deeply when she wrote, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." She knew that the interval between your vibrational shift and its physical manifestation is not empty waiting. It's a sacred space where your faith is strengthened, and where your consciousness stabilizes in its new pattern. This apparent delay isn't a flaw in the process, it's an essential part of your spiritual growth. The revelation that transforms your experience is recognizing that, during this period of seeming silence, the most powerful thing you can do is maintain your vibration without wavering, not frantically looking for signs, not constantly checking for results, not doubting the process, but resting in absolute certainty that what you've claimed in consciousness is already yours on the invisible plane, and must, by universal law, materialize in your experience. If you're committed to maintaining your vibration regardless of temporary appearances, type trusting the process in the comments. The crucible of I want to go even deeper into the spiritual significance of this waiting period, the time between assuming a new state of consciousness and witnessing its physical materialization isn't just a mechanical delay in the process, it's a profound test of your identity. This interval reveals whether you truly believe what you've declared or whether you're merely hoping it might be true. What seems like waiting is actually a sacred crucible, where your new consciousness is being refined and stabilized. It's during this period that the universe determines whether you're genuinely embodying the vibration of prosperity or just temporarily visiting it. Your response to this apparent gap becomes the decisive factor in how quickly your manifestation appears. Here's the illuminating paradox. True belief creates tranquility, while doubt creates haste. When you genuinely believe you already have what you desire on the invisible plane, you feel no urgency, no desperation, and no need to constantly check for results. You rest in a state of peaceful expectancy, knowing the manifestation is as certain as a seed sprouting when planted in fertile soil. But when doubt lingers beneath the surface, it generates anxiety, impatience, and the compulsive need to control outcomes, all of which actually push your manifestation further away. Florence Scovel Shinn expressed this principle beautifully when she wrote, "Infinite intelligence knows the way, and clearness and peace come with the definite lead." She understood that inner serenity isn't just a pleasant emotional state, it's a powerful signal to the universe that you have truly learned the lesson of abundance. It communicates that you've fully accepted your new identity and are no longer wavering between states of consciousness. Your consciousness must be stable in its new pattern before the physical world can reorganize to reflect it, just as an architect's blueprint must be complete and clear before construction begins. Your inner knowing must be settled and serene before your external reality can fully align with it. This inner serenity becomes both the cause and the evidence of your successful manifestation. When you find yourself in that space between conscious shift and physical manifestation, remember that your response to this interval isn't just determining when your desire will appear, it's revealing who you've truly become in the process. If you're discovering the power of inner serenity in your manifestation practice, type peaceful certainty in the comments. The unexpected channel. Now, let's explore the fascinating way the invisible field begins to materialize in your physical reality. One of the most liberating revelations on the manifestation journey is discovering that the universe rarely delivers your desire through the channels you expect. The invisible often shows itself in the most unexpected and surprising ways. A forgotten debt suddenly repaid, a bonus you weren't anticipating, an opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere, or an inspired idea that quickly bears fruit. This unpredictability isn't a flaw in the system. It's by intelligent design. The universe consistently chooses the path of least resistance, flowing like water around obstacles, rather than forcing its way through them. Your logical mind might envision only one or two possible routes to your financial goal, but the infinite intelligence orchestrating the cosmos sees countless pathways you couldn't possibly imagine. Florence Scovel Shinn noted how often prosperity arrived through what she called the unexpected channel. This revelation transforms how you participate in the manifestation process. Instead of trying to micromanage exactly how money must come to you, you focus on maintaining the feeling of abundance and then remain open and receptive to all possibilities. This receptivity accelerates your manifestation because it removes the rigid conditions that often block the flow. Freedom from a profound insight that completely transforms your relationship with prosperity is recognizing that money is never the true objective of manifestation. It is merely the visible symbol of your internal alignment, the physical reflection of your consciousness. When you deeply understand this truth, something remarkable happens. Attachment disappears. This release of attachment doesn't diminish your desire. It actually stabilizes abundance in your experience, because you're no longer oscillating between states of having and not having. You recognize that the real treasure isn't the dollars in your account, but the consciousness that attracted those dollars, and that consciousness is already fully present within you, regardless of temporary external conditions. When money is no longer the ultimate goal, but simply one of many ways your alignment expresses itself in physical form, you experience a profound freedom. You stop measuring your worth by your net worth and engage with financial energy from a place of appreciation rather than desperation. If you're beginning to sense this shift in how you relate to money, type freedom from attachment in the comments. Gratitude as a creative force. Now, let's explore the transformative power of gratitude in the manifestation process, not as a spiritual nicety, but as a potent creative force. Most people are taught to give thanks for what they already possess or what they hope to receive, but those who have mastered the art of manifestation express gratitude for what is already theirs on the invisible plane, even before it appears in physical form. This is not magical thinking. It's acknowledging the metaphysical reality that manifestation begins in the invisible realm. When you express heartfelt gratitude for the abundance you've claimed in consciousness, feeling the emotion as if it has already materialized, you're simply perceiving a deeper dimension of reality. The field of infinite intelligence responds instantly to the vibration of genuine gratitude because it serves as silent proof of faith. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this principle beautifully when she wrote, "Gratitude is the law of increase, and complaint is the law of decrease." She understood that gratitude isn't just an appropriate response, it's the very vibration that multiplies those blessings. When this attitude of thankfulness becomes your natural state, the physical world has no choice but to reorganize itself to match your inner reality. The ultimate remembrance, profound revelation that completes this understanding, is recognizing that the power to manifest money from nothing doesn't come from mastering techniques. It comes from the simple yet transformative remembrance that you are the source itself. The creative force that brings all things into being isn't something outside of you. It's the very essence of who you are. This understanding liberates you from the endless search for the perfect strategy. You realize that everything that exists in your external reality is born from the invisible field within you. You are not separate from abundance seeking to attract it. You are abundant expressing itself through your unique consciousness. When this truth moves from intellectual understanding to embodied knowing, your entire approach to life transforms. You stop pursuing prosperity as if it were something to acquire and start expressing it as your natural state of being. The journey was never about getting something you lacked, but about remembering something you always were. If this fundamental shift in identity resonates with your deepest knowing, type "I am the source" in the comments. From beggar to creator. When your mind fully aligns with the feeling of possession, not just thinking about having abundance, but actually feeling the emotions that accompany that state, the universe has no choice but to reflect that inner reality. The profound mistake we've been making is seeking outside ourselves for something that can only be found within. We've been treating abundance as a distant destination rather than an internal state to express. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "The game of life is a game of BOOMERANGS. The universe isn't giving you prosperity, it's showing you yourself." This awakening transforms your identity from a powerless beggar to a creative consciousness, commanding with quiet faith rather than pleading with desperate need. Every thought you hold with unwavering conviction becomes a seed planted in the invisible field, needing only the right conditions, your consistent vibration to flourish. Your job isn't to force the growth, but to trust the intelligence within the seed. As we come to a close, sit with this powerful truth. You've always been the creator of your financial reality. These principles are ancient wisdom that your soul has always known. Trust that feeling of recognition. It's guiding you back to your natural state of prosperity consciousness. I'd love to continue this journey with you. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to go deeper into these principles of conscious creation. If this message found its way to you at exactly the right moment, type divine timing in the comments. And if you found value in what we've shared today, a simple like tells the algorithm to share this message with others. Click over to the next video, insert video link graphic, where we explore how to maintain your prosperity consciousness even when faced with challenging circumstances. Until next time, remember, you're not pursuing abundance. You are abundance expressing itself in human form.